Here at the Q in Cleveland, Ohio, the Phoenix Suns come in 28-15. They have won 2 in a row. They're trying to hold off the streaking Clippers in the Pacific Division. The starting lineups, you see that Leandro Barbosa has moved in. Raja Bell, a late scratch. Steve Nash, Sean Marion, and Kurt Thomas in there. And we will hear from Mark Jones about that. For the home team, Pavlovich, Eric Snow, Drew Gooden, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, and LeBron James round out the Cavaliers starting lineup. The Cavaliers at 24-17. They've won 4 in a row. Mark, what's the situation with Raja Bell?
Well, Mike D'Antoni, the Suns coach, told me just a few moments ago that he made an executive decision not to have the team's defensive stopper play today because of a calf injury, which initially flared up against the Atlanta Hawks a couple of nights ago. What that means for the Suns is that now defensively, the assignment of LeBron James falls in the hands of Sean Marion. He also said that LB Barbosa will have to also help in on LeBron James. Brent, back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. There is Sean Marion. Originally, he was going to take Eric Snow and be the help defender. He was going to be roaming, so that changes things as we look at Steve Nash. Now, these two played earlier in the season in Phoenix, and the Suns won at 115-106. In that game, Steve Nash scored 20 points, but more importantly, 15 assists and no turnovers. An incredible stat line. LeBron James in that game down in Phoenix logged 44 minutes. He was 18 of 28 from the field. He nailed 5 3-balls and wound up with 46 points against the Suns. So we get ready to go. We've got a veteran officiating crew on hand here today, and it's a good one. Jess Kersey, Dick Bavetta, and Kevin Fair will work our game on a Sunday afternoon in Cleveland.
Injuries, the breaks of the game. Phoenix up against it without Raja Bell, who had 23 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and a couple of assists in that game down in Phoenix against Cleveland. Phoenix, they need to push that ball. Steve Nash, he is going to have to put the ball up as a shooter today because Cleveland's defensive strategy is to make Steve Nash beat them as a scorer rather than as the league's leading assist man. Snap.
Well, that's true. What they try to do is make him a scorer, and you don't get the other guys involved. Every team tries to do it. Very few have been successful with it.
Marion goes with LeBron James to the corner. This is the point man for the Cavaliers, Snow, and he feeds the post right away. They see how they're going to defend Ilgauskas, so they double team. They hit a cutting Snow for a left-handed layup.
Mike D'Antoni's strategy, don't let Ilgauskas, don't let LeBron James beat them. It worked so magnificently for Phoenix against Miami earlier on this road trip.
Steal by James. Drives for a left-handed layup, so 2 left-handed field goals. But the Cavaliers ahead of Coach D'Antoni, and the Suns here early.
Well, the pace of the game really works to the Cavaliers' favor here at home because Phoenix plays quick. They're a better team when they play quick and open. Diaw with his first.
Diaw is coming off a big game against Atlanta. Remember, he was obtained in the Joe Johnson trade. Suddenly he showed up and scored 25 against the Hawks. He had averaged 8.3, hit 11 of 17 shots in that game, 8 boards, 5 assists.
And this is a game where Diaw will have to be better than he's ever been before with the loss of Raja Bell.
Snow's coming at him. He is burning the strategy of letting him shoot.
But it's very early. Will Eric Snow be able to continue that scoring pace?
Nash comes right back and nails it.
Well, the one thing you know is you have to make shots against Phoenix if you're going to beat them. So everybody that can make a shot, they've got to take their opportunity and knock them down. Now, this should give Eric Snow some early confidence. He's a reluctant offensive player, but he can make shots. He showed it at Philadelphia.
Finally misses for Ilgauskas, and he'll be on the free throw line shooting a pair, and he is a remarkable free throw shooter for a big man. In fact, he is the best center in the league. He's shooting .864 from the free throw line. That's the highest percentage among all players who started at least 15 games at center this season. And the other night over in Indiana, if you were with us on ESPN on Friday night, it was Ilgauskas at the free throw line who sealed that win over a very determined Pacer team.
Brent, are you saying something about Shaq?
Well, as we have lived through the era of Shaq, we have come to expect free throws atrocity, really, from the center position. But in the history of the NBA, there's only been one center to ever lead the league in free throw percentage. That was Jack Sixma back in the late 1980s under head coach Del Harris from the Milwaukee Bucks. at the time.
John Marion rattles out. Rebound by Gooden. Do you remember, Snapper, how many free throws Wilt Chamberlain made in his 100-point game in Hershey?
He had the game of his life, 28 of 32, and he saw 32 misses.
Marion takes it in on that fast break opportunity. Both these teams, folks, don't blink. They're going to go up and down the floor. We could be looking at that 200-point game. And, I don't know about you, Bill, but that's the kind of game I love in the NBA.
That is what I dreamed about as a young boy, getting into the NBA, playing in these up and down racehorse games, and we're going to see nothing but that from these magnificent squads today.
Illegal D.
Yep.
Offensive 3 seconds.
It's on Marion. It's a technical, and look who's stepping back to the line.
Shooting the technical. Zadrunas.
We have one other player out there that you would think would be a pretty good free throw. It's not LeBron James. It should be Sasha Pavlovich, but he hasn't played a lot. So I think he has to grow into it, but the guy is a very good perimeter player.
But Sasha Pavlovich has been in the starting lineup 4 games. They've won all 4 games. What's the guy's name in baseball with Lou Gehrig and Wally Pipp?
No,
you can only hope that Larry Hughes gets better very quickly.
They need him, if nothing else, for his defensive work. He and LeBron have very, very good chemistry. Danny Ferry telling me that they're just taking the time on that broken hand. Good distance as he goes in. And rebound now by the Suns. What a cut. And Thomas is fouled. Pavlovich fouled him, and he's coming to the free throw line.
Kurt Thomas, who has tremendous experience playing against Zadrunas Ilgauskas after all the years with the Knicks, knows that he has to run the floor to try to get some opportunities in transition. Kurt Thomas, who has lost about 15 to 20 pounds since his days with the much more plodding New York Knicks.
Well, you know what that tells us, Bill, is that big guys will get in better condition to get 2 points. Because everybody runs when you have a chance to score. If you're not going to get in on that break, you're probably not going to make the effort.
But look at another big guy, Steve, who has lost a bunch of weight, Elton Brand, 18 pounds, and he's having an incredible season. Back-to-back victories over the Northwest Division Denver Nuggets.
James wanted Gooden, and Gooden was not even looking. And Phoenix lets it get away. They give it right back, and Snow applies some pressure in the backcourt.
Ilgauskas wanted to save that LeBron James. He never wanted to jump in the air to pass, but everybody else had given up on the ball thinking it was going out of bounds. Big Z in this Lithuania, the same hometown as Arvydas Sabonis.
LeBron missing on the 2. Nash over on the left-hand side, looking for a way to penetrate against this Cavalier defense. He's cut off at the free throw line. Barbosa spins back, kick corner. Here's Thomas from the perimeter.
Penetration and dish, championship style of basketball. And with Barbosa and Viau and Steve Nash all able to create like that, the big men for Phoenix will have a field day.
Pavlovich, that's the 3.
Pavlovich is a very good perimeter player. Nash answers right back, and that's the key. If you're Cleveland, you got to make sure the scoring opportunities you get, you make the most of them, because Phoenix is going to come back very quickly after a score.
James hangs, and he's fouled in that first game, Snapper, down in Phoenix. These two teams combined for 64 points. Suns led at 33-31 at the end of the first quarter.
We're in that right direction. Last year, we did a game in here when Phoenix got off to a tremendous start. They were scoring within 2 to 3 seconds after every Cavaliers score. They got a lead of 17 going into the 4th, and LeBron James took over, finished the night with 40 points. He loves to play against these teams, and you see the numbers on LeBron James in his first 3 seasons. He gets 1 or 2.
That's the first free throw he's missed this year against Phoenix. He was perfect in all 5 attempts down in Arizona earlier.
Well, that was better than that free throw you had.
I wasn't going to mention the air ball. Mark Jones had a wonderful interview with him, and he was very self-deprecating. He said, at least I grazed the front of the rim. The worst free throw I ever shot, he said, was in high school.
15 seconds.
If you shoot as many free throws as LeBron is going to shoot over the course of his Hall of Fame career, you're talking about a guy who will make a few mistakes here and there. Never forget that Steve Nash leads the NBA in turnovers totally and in turnovers per game.
Nash getting inside, kicks back for the outside shot to the corner. Here's Marion. The three ball is on the money. Was that terrific ball movement or not? Nash was at the rim, kicked it back outside. Barbosa found the open man left corner.
What Leandro Barbosa and Eddie House off the bench. Here the Suns in transition again. Huge numerical advantage. If you play against Phoenix, you just have to be ready to run and run. And Barbosa with 5 assists already. If you're talking about playing without the basketball, because Steve Nash totally dominates possession.
Well, Barbosa plays better when he plays with Steve Nash. Not only can he focus on scoring and trying to set up the team and get the open man.
Was there anybody who doesn't play better with Steve Nash?
Bad shot by Gooden.
Not here lately.
And Nash will try to split the D again, and there's a foul call by Jessica. Now, let's go back to that play here, Bill.
When you push the ball the way Phoenix does, Steve Nash, who loves to finish with his left hand, will kick it out to the three-point line time and time again. Sean Marion, who at the start of the season could not make a three, now is shooting a very respectable percentage, particularly for a power forward. Damon Jones checks into the game for the first time.
He was a starter in game 1, Bill. He was 2 of 4 from the field. He played more than 33 minutes. He's been a very disappointing long-range shooter for the Cavaliers so far.
Well, he specializes in taking only long-range shots. He could step in, he could start to get himself going probably by making a few shots inside the line, and he's tightened up because he's missing outside the line, and that's what he hangs his hat on. Nash with a miss.
Bad miss. It goes over to the Cavaliers, of course. One of the storylines with Phoenix is how well Nash has played without the injured Amari Stoudemire this year. Some would say that his numbers are even more impressive, as you see Stoudemire over there, and they're going to err on the side of caution, D'Antoni said, but he is ahead of schedule as far as rehab is concerned. But folks, Thursday, PMRI, write it down. SportsCenter will have the details. It is a big moment, and Mark Jones will talk to him a little bit later in the day. They will find out about the progress with that damaged knee. Obviously, they're extremely hopeful that he come back for the playoffs. But if there's any swelling in there or any chance of further injury, we will not see Amari the rest of the year. Battles out into Gauska's hands.
The quick hitting attack by Sean Marion is a thing of beauty to watch. Never gets tired. The relentless attack just epitomizes what Phoenix stands for in today's NBA.
Now they got a mismatch. LeBron and Kurt Thomas. Will LeBron try to get to the rim? A lot of times take tough shots.
And he did right there, Steve. Well, it was a very tough shot.
Kurt Thomas played him as well as you possibly can. Maybe try to turn it to the inside where the help is, but that was an extremely difficult shot.
Barbosa comes back, and he's on the free throw line shooting a pair. Nash and Marion leading the Phoenix Suns this year, but they can't look back because the Clippers are gaining. Time out.
The NBA on ABC, brought to you by the all-new 2006 Ford Fusion. Put your life in drive.
Well, Bill, Snapper may be the only one at the table who had a chance to play against Bob Cousy, so take over here with the assists.
The noted passer, Steve Jones.
Well, the one thing that all great passers have, and Bob Cousy was the first to hallmark it, is vision. They find guys in places that make it easy for everybody else to score. Magic Johnson was that way, and Steve Nash continues in that vein. And the thing about playing with those guys, they know who will give them an assist. That's why they would pass to me.
And when you talk to the players who played against Bob Cousy, all the founders of the NBA, they all say that Bob was the best player ever. You talk about the same thing with Magic Johnson. But Steve Nash is the reigning most valuable player, career high in points. Field goal percentage a little bit down. He's not as open this year because Amari Stoudemire's out there, but 43% from behind the line, and not since the early 90s at the very end of Magic Johnson's career has any player in the entire NBA put up the numbers that Steve Nash is doing right now. Plus 18 points and plus 11 assists per game.
Not to puncture your argument, but let us not overlook Oscar Robertson. It's my opinion. One man who could control a basketball game, may have been the best ever, was Oscar Robertson. Unbelievable. It was his game until he gave it up, folks. How many, Billy, how many assists does Nash have?
Steve Nash, who leads the NBA in assists, has 0 in this game. Leandro Barbosa has 5. And with the Suns cooling off a little bit from the field, having started 7 for 8 from the field, 0 for 3 since then, they're very lucky to have this lead right here.
Well, you know, there's a lot of time to play, and what Phoenix wants is a quick pace. What LeBron James and company should be trying to do is drive that ball to the bucket, put some pressure on. Not a lot of shot blocking out there in white.
Danielle Marshall, and that's a shot clock violation. He had checked in during the timeout out there with James. Newble is also on the floor. Gooden stays out there with LeBron, and of course Damon Jones had checked in. Mike Brown, in his first year as the head coach, he's a very, very highly regarded assistant coach at San Antonio, and then at Indiana. And a very, very nice feeling his way as a head coach. Not easy. Inherited a team, Bill, with a superstar like LeBron James, and trying to find role players to work in and give people minutes. But I'm impressed with what he's done here.
And he's learned from master teachers. He was with Greg Popovich, the best coach in basketball today, the coach of the NBA champs, San Antonio Spurs. He was with Rick Carlisle. He's also with Bernie Bickerstaff. Mike Brown told us before the game that he said that he never realized how difficult that 18-inch move up the bench would be for him in his now first year, the second youngest head coach in all.
I have to also enter into this and say we cannot overlook one Mr. Phil Jackson and the 9 championship rings that he has. I know that Popovich has done a great job at San Antonio. James is doubled and stepped out of bounds. They have turned it over.
Are you trying to tell us to be balanced? is that what you're trying to get out of it?
Why would I lead you astray?
Phil has been the best. But today,
nice play by Nash.
Well, we can continue to debate that this evening as Marion comes back for the Suns on the run. And, of course, you'll see Coach Jackson and the Lakers tonight on ESPN. We all want to watch that against Detroit. That's going to be fun to watch the Piston defense against Kobe Bryant. I'm looking forward to that. And LeBron James battles his way. Tough rebound snap.
Did a terrific job of getting his own miss in traffic, but he was trying to work inside, which is what they should do. But the Suns, they're just kept retreating on LeBron James where there was little room to work, and he had to try to squeeze that off in a tight area. So he gets back to the free throw line with 4:25 to go here in the first quarter.
Suns are not a physically talented team in the paint area defensively. Once you get by that first line, you should have whatever you want.
Let's take a look at our NBA calendar tomorrow. Portland and Seattle on NBA TV. Thursday on TNT, Cleveland at Miami, San Antonio at Golden State. And next Sunday, here on Super Sunday on ABC, Houston against the Knickerbockers. And following that, I think it's 6:30 Eastern. They'll correct me if I'm wrong. It's the Super Bowl game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Seattle Seahawks.
Man, I want to go back to the game tonight between Kobe, the Lakers, and the Detroit Pistons.
Sure.
The Detroit Pistons, they promised to play better defense than the Toronto Raptors did a week ago tonight when Kobe went for 81.
Yes, I would agree that they will be able to do that. The three is no good and into LeBron James' hands.
James Jones, a critical element of Mike D'Antoni's offensive attack.
LeBron, every time he gets the ball against James Jones, drives the ball.
That's what they want from him, too, is he nails the three ball. He's been disappointing from the perimeter. One thing we note about LeBron James, if you weren't with us in Indiana, he continues to wear those tights. They have not lost. And he did it to warm just a hamstring, I believe it was. It was bothering him. And so he still got him on it. And Snap, I would dare say there'll be youngsters all over the Cleveland area wearing tights here when they play basketball.
That's not limited to Cleveland.
That's true. Spin, no. Suns come back out, leading it by 3. And here's Nash, spot up, open spot. There's their game, the 3 ball.
Well, you have your forward, Boris Diaw, leading the break, and your point guard, normally the setup man, draining the 3-point shot. Role reversal here as Phoenix extending. What is Mike Brown and his Cavaliers going to do about it?
Well, they cannot lose a shooter like Nash in transition. And he was wide open, folks. 10 fast break points for the Suns so far. We've got a timeout.
Welcome back, everybody, to Cleveland. Phoenix leading by 6, 24-18. Joined now by Amari Stoudemire, the All-Star for the Phoenix Suns. Amari, you have a very important MRI exam coming up on Thursday. Originally, you'd kind of looked at an early March return. How much has that changed?
Well, we just want to make sure that I'm 100% before I get back out there. We can't really call a set date quite yet. The MRI, like you said, is coming up here Thursday, so just want to make sure the healing process is still going well, and we'll take it from there.
You were telling me earlier that you've spoken to a couple of athletes who have come back from this type of surgery and had the type of surgery, Allen Houston being one. What kind of advice has he given you?
Well, I think the main thing is what they say is just make sure I'm healthy before I get back out there. A lot of players make mistakes on playing on the injury and not really healing up 100%, so my thing is to make sure that I'm healed up and get back to the older Amari Stoudemire.
I know you've been very optimistic throughout the entire process of rehab, but have you at all thought about the possibility of not playing this year and shutting it down if you experience a setback or two?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, it all depends upon the level of pain. I want to make sure I don't feel any pain when I get back out there so I can still have my explosiveness and my quickness.
Thanks for joining us and good luck in the future, Amari. Guys, back to you.
All right, Mark. Good interview with Amari, and we certainly hope the MRI and everything goes well. As Jones has it, that's basket interference up on the rim. At the other end, Ira Newville had a very tough putback down here. Good offensive rebound for the Cavaliers.
When you're playing with LeBron James, and we can only hope that Amari Stoudemire's leg feels well enough to play because he's such a dynamic force and really is the future of post-play in basketball. His body will tell him when he's ready, but when you're playing with LeBron, you're going to be wide open on the offensive glass literally every possession.
Well, the key is you got to go chase the misses, and a lot of times the Cavs don't. They're one and done. When they get stuck in a half-court situation, they don't get the chance.
That's his second field goal. The last 2 trips the Cavaliers have had, it's been Newville who has finished at the rim. What a different way.
Boris Diaw is so much fun to watch play basketball.
And so is Nash, I might add.
Always finishing left, Steve Nash, because of the childhood injury to his left ankle.
11 points. LeBron misses perimeter.
But he's trying to pass that ball to Drew Gooden and hit the rim.
Diaw is long, runs the floor well.
Visionary passer.
There he is looking to pass as he bumps back in, Bill, with a nice jump hook. You bet he was still looking out at the perimeter as he backed back in and then felt that he had the shot.
The 6-point lead comes into play again, but the difference is with Diaw, he's got a big mismatch with Damon Jones. He should look to score the ball almost every time because Damon Jones is just give you a token resistance.
Blocked underneath, but there's Gooden, and that's rejected. He tracks it back down. 4 on the shot. Got to go. Damon with 2 on the shot.
Somebody's got a rebound for Phoenix.
And foul is called. LeBron James battling for the ball underneath.
Phoenix has to play the speed and quickness game. They are not a power team. And they lose whatever power they have when Kurt Thomas goes to the bench. He's now checking back in as D'Antoni senses the punishing display that Cleveland is putting on the backboards.
Well, Ilgauskas comes back in the game. Cleveland is a very good offensive rebounding team with Ilgauskas, James.
LeBron has missed 4 straight.
With Damon Jones with a quick 3.
Cleveland started 3 for 3. Eddie House, the spark plug off the bench, Arizona State star.
Another 30-point quarter for the Suns, up by 8 on the Cavaliers here. LeBron will see if he can hit that crowd. Cannot. Missed his last 5.
Play for 1 here if you're Phoenix.
Well, he had such a good game out in Phoenix, and he was basically unstoppable in that ball game. He will come to this game in the second, third, and fourth quarters with a better offensive effort.
Oh, man. He's the big guy.
Well, that's 13 points in the first quarter.
At the buzzer. And the Suns on a 14-4 run.
And Steve Nash has just taken all the steam out of this raucous crowd that was ready for a celebration. The star comparison, Steve Nash taking it right to LeBron on LeBron's home court. Only one assist, as the strategy for Cleveland is make Steve Nash a scorer, and he is burning them on his way to a huge offensive night.
The Cavaliers with something to prove in the second quarter, which will be coming up. Well, the Cavaliers have teamed with the Ronald McDonald House of Greater Cleveland to raffle off a dream playhouse. All proceeds will benefit the local Ronald McDonald House. The clubhouse is a mini version of the Cavs Quicken Loans Arena, and it'll be on display with chances to win the unique house, available at Cavaliers home games through February. And in addition, it'll be displayed at various other events and locations throughout the city, which of course is just another example of how the NBA cares. And we welcome you to the queue, where at the end of the first quarter, Bill, when you shoot only 36% and give up 70%, not good.
Cleveland has to start giving us something to care about, because they started this game 3 for 3. Since then, they've gone 5 for 19, and LeBron has missed his last 5 shots.
A lot of it has to do with shot selection. Cleveland is not moving the ball, moving the players quick enough. John Marion.
Boy, are they. And Marion, he's 4 of 7. Nash is 6 of 8. Diaw hit both his field goal attempts. And that's how you get to the 70%, I think.
Where's the defense for Cleveland?
Now here's Ilgauskas, who hasn't had a shot that's stripped back out of bounds this time. If you take a look at Ilgauskas without a field goal attempt, team with Gooden and LeBron combined, they're 2 of 11.
They're not getting into their offense quick enough. They're allowing teams to pack it in the paint, force them to play over the top of the defense. And they get a 5-second violation.
They can't even get the ball in bounds. How about just the big man, Ilgauskas or Daniel Marshall, just turning and say, hey, throw a high one out, just treat it like a rebound. Come land and quickly get into our offense. Mike Brown just has to be totally frustrated.
Especially with 6 turnovers already.
But the good thing that Cleveland can hang their hat on is that they're going to get a chance to get back in the game. Phoenix is going to keep throwing them up.
House does just that, knocking that three.
And Eddie House drops that one. Oh.
One of the things that Mike D'Antoni really likes is his second unit guards. Normally Barbosa and Eddie House able to push that ball and not make Steve Nash play every minute and win the game 100 times over.
We're in the midst of a 19-4 Phoenix run. Make it 22 as Jones nails the 3 ball. A 22-4 run right now, 40-22 with Nash watching from the Suns bench.
Well, Phoenix is number 1 in assists in the NBA, number 4 in field goal percentage, number 8 in three-point percentage, and number 2 in free throw percentage. So this is no anomaly.
And when Jones and the Cavaliers ever need that, they'll need firepower from Daniel and Damon at the perimeter as House misses, and back is Marshall with a rebound.
Well, after every miss, LeBron James and company should look to push hard, try to get inside, make it happen in transition.
And one. He has a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play. Little spark here all of a sudden. You know they'll be coming back. That's life in the NBA.
LeBron James looks like Franco Harris coming down the middle of the lane here. Just bodies bouncing off of him. Never, Steve, have I seen a player of that size, 6'8", 250, be able to move the way LeBron James does.
Well, at the 2 and 3 spots, and those are the positions that he plays, you know, he is overpowering, and I think that's his strength. And when you're playing against a team like Phoenix, a little bit undersized, you got to make that work to your advantage. Jones again.
Damon Jones with the long rebound for the Cavaliers. Pavlovich is tied up over here with Barbosa, and the foul is going to be called. It's on Barbosa.
By Dick Pavetta right on top of it. Dick Pavetta, who is today refereeing his 2,130th NBA game. Over 31 years, has never missed a game, Dick Pavetta. And in 5 more games, he is going to pass Jake O'Donnell for the all-time number of games ever refed by anyone in this great league.
Jake is probably Pavlovich smashes it down. And right back the Suns come after that made field goal, but they have turned it over. Marion just couldn't quite get a grip on it. It goes back to the Cavaliers. Here's the dunk.
Rarely do you see Pavlovich get these kind of opportunities, and even rare, a little throwdown as he twists and comes right down on top of the Phoenix Suns with 2 points.
But it was the only way he could get it by Kurt Thomas. If he had tried a slow delivery, Steve, Kurt would have just slapped that ball right out of it.
James just firing.
And when they come down and take no passes or one pass and a shot they miss, this gives Phoenix a chance to bust back at him real quick. James would save.
Pavlovich, the Suns are back defensively. Cavaliers are on an 8-0 run, trail it by 10. Jones misses that three. He's wide open. He had a look at it.
Right now, in the state of mind that Damon Jones is in, the best thing you can do as a defender is let him make one, because he's missing more than he's making, but he's going to keep taking.
And he doesn't get the safe looks that you're going to get playing with Shaquille O'Neal.
That's a two. Jones makes it a 12-point advantage for Phoenix here. 8:39 to go in the second quarter.
James Jones has been having a tremendous road trip. Terrific game down in Miami, his hometown, where he also played college basketball. Languished on the bench with Rick Carlisle in Indiana for a few years before really finding a home here in Phoenix in Mike D'Antoni's system.
6 on the clock.
Finally, Elgowski. Left baseline.
That's the toughest shot in basketball. You come to a dead stop, fake a shot, and then execute the same one normally. That just gets roofed. Sent right back down.
Here he is again, Jones. Taken away by LeBron James. Jump past the corner. Damon, and there's a violation, second violation.
Daniel Marshall got stuck. He's saying he got held in there and he couldn't get out of the paint.
Well, with LeBron monopolizing the ball here, everybody thought this shot was going to go up. That one went down. Sasha Pavlovich throwing it down. Cleveland trying to make a run to get back into this one on their home court.
The NBA on ABC, brought to you by the all-new 2006 Toyota RAV4. Handle anything.
Well, the Phoenix Suns leading by 10, 42-32. But the secret behind the Cleveland Cavaliers' success of late, it's all about these folks. Tights. LeBron James is 4-0. The team is 4-0 since he started wearing these tights back against Utah, a game in which he scored 51 points. Now, he injured his knee against Golden State. Thought that, hey, the tights will help keep his knee warm against Utah. It worked. He's been wearing them ever since. Now, when I asked him whether he thought it might become some sort of national phenomena, he said, well, yeah, the kids might start wearing them since I'm wearing them, but I'm only going to be wearing them short term until the knee gets better. Bill, could you ever worn these? Steve, you?
I know Bill could have, because, you know, he had liked the look of being different out on the floor. Kobe actually started wearing the tights before anyone else in the NBA, and he's out of his now. That's why he's got that 62 and that 81-point game.
But in that 51-point game against Utah, that was the game right after the 14-point game debacle against Golden State. But in that game, that was where LeBron really looked like Dr. J with the throwdown finishes.
Eddie House with 7 points off the Phoenix bench now.
LeBron is out of the game, so he got to go elsewhere to get some offense. Pavlovich drops that one in.
And Steve, LeBron might lose the tights at halftime. He's only 3 of 10 here in the first half. We might see a new look come halftime. House coming back at you. He's feeling it. Wow.
Eddie House has let him get hot. He's very streaky, and when he gets on the streak, he's on the boil. He's going to stay there. He's going to look to put it up. He's got the freedom, the green light from Mike D'Antoni. He's got the 9 points already, 7 1/4.
But House and Barbosa are playing fantastic, and that just lets Steve Nash rest. And that's the last thing that Mike Brown and Cleveland want.
No. Make it a 10. Into Sean Marion's hand.
Your power forward waves off the guard to bring the ball up the floor. Now that's versatility and interchangeability.
Well, he's got a big advantage over Damon Jones inside. He's asking for the ball now. Let's see if they find it.
They did.
Defensive 3-second violation against Cleveland. They were trying to help out on that front that Damon Jones was putting defensively on Sean Marion. Sean Marion will go to the free throw line, and what a season he's had.
Line shooting, Sean Marion.
He's one of 4 players in the league, Bill, averaging 20 or more points and 10 or more rebounds this season. The others, Milton Brand, Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett.
But when you look at what Sean Marion is doing, he's number 3 in rebounds in the NBA. And Sean's about 6 feet 7 inches tall. He's number 1 in total rebounds.
The good news is he takes a seat, and Ilgauskas comes out of the game. But now this really puts some pressure on the offense of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Who's going to score the points? Their 2 leading scorers are on the bench. Snow, Damon Jones, Pavlovich, Barrejo, and Daniel Marshall. Now they think that they're going to get a great defensive effort. They get one there against the clock, the Phoenix Suns.
Barrejo did not play against Indiana the other night, and he's back on the floor. And Anderson's been battling some injury situation. Number 17, you'll recognize him with a hairdo, of course. Cavaliers. So it has been Mr. Kevin House, who has come off that bench and has put up 9 for the Phoenix Suns, who lead it by 13. 47-34. Trying to warm up a windy day here in Cleveland. The Phoenix Suns, Steve, they're still shooting 66%.
Well, look at the shots that they're getting. They're wide open. There's not a lot of pressure on them. And the Phoenix Suns have the freedom to shoot anyway. So now that they're not really getting any defensive pressure, the shots are coming in easier. Jones and House off the bench have made big shots here in the second quarter.
But Steve, this weekend we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of Mozart's birthday. And that is a tribute to the way Mike D'Antoni has changed basketball with the creativity, the brilliance, the ingenuity, the intuition.
Excuse me?
Do you think that Mozart had anything with Nash getting 10?
Absolutely.
In the first quarter?
Absolutely.
Snapper, help me out here.
The inspiration that Amadeus Wolfgang Mozart has brought to our world is being displayed here today.
A guy who adores the Grateful Dead who's talking about Mozart is one coming up.
Well, here's the beauty of it. You're the only one, and you don't have sneakers and shorts that knows that it's Mozart's birthday. And all of those guys out there that are getting that inspiration, they don't have one CD by him.
Well, despite that nice drive by Andy Barrejo, the Suns, they have 12 assists and only 4 turnovers in this game. While the Cavaliers, they only have 7 assists and 7 turnovers. That ratio just deplorable. Barbosa, starting with Steve Nash, 7 assists and only 1 turnover on the afternoon.
There's the ball control.
The turnovers are hurting Cleveland. What they got to do right here is try to tighten out defensively, get Phoenix in a 1-and-out situation, and then push it back the other way. Yeah. Oh, that's the bullpen.
That's offensive interference. Nash with a big rest of about 10 minutes. And so Nash back.
Well, they're all saying it was the other guy. This ball will go up. Who touched it?
I think the defender touched that ball. I think that ball should be counted as 2 points for the Phoenix Suns. Sean Marion has a legitimate right there.
Yeah, that did look it, didn't it? You saw that replay? Cavaliers say thank you very much, and they'll see if they can build on it. They're still down by 10. And it's tough to see that action underneath. I mean, this is the toughest sport in the world to officiate. Jones gets it back. Barrejo was coming with it. And now Nash loses it, and it goes right to Marion.
One thing that Barrejo gives them is hustle, energy, and they need that right now. And he came up with the loose ball there. See if they come back to him inside.
He's the only Brazilian I know who has 2 names.
Anderson?
Ronaldo. You know, all the soccer players, there's one name in Brazil. Put back. Daniel Marshall stuck right with it, Bill.
It'd be nice to see Daniel Marshall play more inside than just stand out there on the 3-point line all the time. They've cut the deficit to 8. Will Steve Nash be able to get warmed up in time?
He's got two hands on against Eric Snow. He's not going to let Sean Marion turn inside and dunk on him.
See, this is a nightmare matchup, and I'm not sure why Mike Brown has not gone away from it. Sean Marion is going to torture these Cavaliers here, and Cleveland will not win this game if they don't put a bigger, stronger, and better defender on Sean Marion, the NBA's #1 most efficient player by the numbers.
Well, you look what they have out on the floor now. Daniel Marshall is trying to guard him inside. That means Cavaliers should go out on the perimeter.
Oh, Nash. His eyes lit up when he saw Baracho on it.
Maybe that's why Andy still does have two names.
Maybe you're right.
They just teased the big guy.
Oh, mercy.
Wait until his hair flew down in his eye.
This isn't taking it out. Baracho, he certainly has brought energy to the Cavalier attack. He's making a difference. Popular with the crowd here, you can tell.
He was tremendous last year in just the hustle area.
No, got that in Marion there. Now it's Nash's turn. Kick to House. The three, yes, rattles in. What a beautiful pass that was. And a spot up three now, and it doesn't for House off the Suns bench.
But the way that little Stevie was able to find and get that ball to Eddie House.
Damon comes right back at you.
I'm concerned with the shot selection for Cleveland. Granted, that one went down, but Pavlovich's one before that. And they continue to have the short guy, Eric Snow, trying to guard a bigger post-up player, Boris Diaw here.
Well, Diaw is reluctant to shoot, and so you can get away with it in that situation. When Cleveland is at their best, it's because they push the ball up the floor. That's when these three-point shooters have some impact for them. In their half-court game, they're spotty with their shot selection. Pavlovich on the drive.
He's on the free throw line, Steve.
Phoenix is calling for a push-off. But D'Antoni has got to tell Boris Diaw during this timeout, hey, when you got a little guy in the post, you got to take it right to the hoop.
He says he pushed off with his arm, too. You can tell from the body. Well, the Suns blazing away here in the first half. They've shot 65%. Daniel Marshall trying to keep the Cavaliers in it, but they're down by 10.
T-Mobile halftime report coming up after 2:34 goes off the clock in Cleveland. Cavaliers now down by 10. Mike Tirico, Scottie Pippen in New York. Your thoughts on the first half so far?
Well, for Cleveland, you have to be very happy. I mean, they fought their way back into the game after being down 17. So they have to just continue to work, and hopefully by the second half, they can get back in this game.
Yeah, Nash has been terrific. Sean Marion as well. And when we come join you on the T-Mobile halftime report, we will talk about Sean Marion. A visit with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad will be talking about fashion and that odd-looking jump shot. Brent, we look forward to it. See you guys then.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Back with Amadeus Walton and Snapper Jones here. And what do we make of what we've seen so far, Bill?
I'm concerned for Cleveland because Mike Brown always talks about defense. And they've given up 65% shooting, and they've given up 52 points already, and there's still more than 2 minutes to play, so it's going to be very difficult for Mike Brown to get the guys to keep listening to him.
Well, what he's got, though, he's got a unit out there right now that is at least trying to cover, and they're starting to work their way back in the game. So Pavlovich is at the line. He makes it first. We'll be down to an 8-point game.
You two guys are behaving very well today. I'd like to compliment.
The second half is coming.
I have had no calls for the league, no calls for the 76ers. I mean, it's wonderful. 52-44. But just kidding, Billy King. Just kidding.
But Phoenix has 20 points off their bench from their guard. That's tremendous.
Well, the two players that have played have had a tremendous contribution for him. Marion right at the rim.
What a great season he's having, huh, Bill? Sean Marion.
Well, the two-time All-Star certainly on his way back to Houston. Rumors that he'll be on the Olympic team as well. But number 3 in minutes played, Sean Marion behind Ricky Davis and Allen Iverson. As number 1, Sean Marion in double-doubles, usually dominated by Tim Duncan. Now this year it's Sean Marion, former UNLV and Vincennes, Indiana junior college star. Number 9 overall pick in the 99 draft, Sean Marion.
Well, it's not a good matchup when they have to have Daniel Marshall switch off on Steve Nash. Nash working on his own.
Right, he saw it, Steve, just like you did, huh?
As soon as Cleveland steps their bigs out to confront little Stevie, He just says, okay, clear the floor, guys. I'm going to get to the hoop.
They do recognize mismatches, don't they, Steve?
Well, they do. And one thing that Nash knows is he's going to be able to get to the rim, or he's going to cause a collapse and somebody's going to give an easy scoring opportunity. Cleveland has two guys that don't defend well, and they switch. That's Damon Jones and Daniel Marshall. Marshall takes his seat, and we'll find out whether they can tighten up here in the last 150.
And if folks download the full game of Kobe Bryant's amazing 81-point performance in more NBA matchups at the Google Video Store. NBA.com is the address. That's how you get there. I know most of us, that's one of the first sites we go to in the morning because the West Coast scores are going to need. LeBron James has really struggled shooting.
Well, he hasn't played much here in the second quarter. He took him out and left him out for too long. And now that he has no rhythm whatsoever, here's an opportunity for him to grab him and foul him.
Some rhythm there.
But in that situation, Leon Barbosa should have just grabbed him well out on the wing and not let him get any momentum.
Well, you know, last year when they played Phoenix for the first time here, they got themselves in the same kind of position. Now Gooden is going to take a shot with Steve Nash. You have got to get people that can at least move their feet and keep Nash from getting in. Here comes LeBron James. They didn't see it.
Damon's going to spot. Boy, that's a hoop they need if he's going to take it that early. 4-on-1. He's got it.
Now, there's a difference between Steve Nash and any other guard in the league. He's going to get the ball to a guy that can do some business with it and right at the rim, James Jones.
2 for 1 time here for Cleveland. Got to get a shot up now if you want to get the ball back.
Jones again. Makes that one. You know, one of the things I noticed over in Indiana, he was doing a lot of chit-chat with the crowd over there. He's paying attention to basketball here today in Cleveland. I'm sure Mike Brown, the coach, appreciates that.
He's got himself, Damon Jones, in a lot of trouble with the fans here who have booed him unmercifully. That's a difficult shot.
And buries Barbosa.
That's his first hoop of the ball game. He got himself in trouble with the fans because he was talking?
Well, he wasn't backing up his game.
With Alfred is a butler. He has no game. You know, he got the benefit of having
James on a power move, and it's a 9-point game. Time running out at the buzzer. It's waved off. Marion did not get it off. Even if it had gone in, it would not have counted. So, well, Mike Tirico and Scottie Pippen. But before we go to them, take a look at LeBron's power move. Muscles in, splits the D, goes to the left hand. That is King James basketball. And coming up now on the T-Mobile halftime report, all access with Sean Marion. Preview of the Heat versus the Rockets still to come. All coming up now on the T-Mobile halftime report. You're watching the NBA on ABC Sports. It is championship television. The Phoenix Suns, 66% and 20 fast break points, lead it at the half.
From Times Square in New York City, this is the T-Mobile Halftime Report.
Phoenix hitting 2 of every 3 shots, leading Cleveland 60-51 as we welcome you to New York and this T-Mobile Halftime Report. Mike Tirico with you. Scottie Pippen will join us momentarily. Well, Sean Marion had 12 points in that first half, just part of his great season. Should be an all-star season. Unfortunately, the only other 3 guys in the league who are averaging 20 points and 10 rebounds a game are Western Conference forwards in Elton Brand, Kevin Garnett, and Tim Duncan. Still a breakthrough season for Marion. To learn more about him, time to go access Ahmad. He joins Ahmad Rashad.
Marion cramps it down. Sean Marion is on fire.
You are the Matrix. You like that nickname?
Yeah, I love it. I think it defines everything about me. The way I play, just my character, my demeanor, everything.
Come on, let's talk, man. Talk to each other.
People have said that you cannot shut down your entire. If you shut down one part of the game, you beat them with the other part.
Intercepted by the Matrix.
I think sometimes people get into a mode where if they ain't scoring, they ain't doing nothing for their team. That's not what it's about. Even if I ain't getting a chance of getting involved in the game offensively, I'm gonna play defense. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go out there and rebound and try to get some blocks or some steals or something to create something.
So you see yourself landing a part in the next Matrix Movie, maybe?
Man, the series is over with. But if they were about to shoot another film this summer, I would be trying to get into it, definitely.
Orange on the foul line again. To make you keep it.
Go, get there.
And I've known you for quite a while. You're very quiet off the court.
Sarge, where we guys?
But loud on the court.
Good, man. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. Don't do that, man. I'm a little bit of everything. Don't do that, man. I'm jokeable, I'm lovable, you know, and then at the same time, though, I can be mean and serious, too.
If you were not playing basketball, what do you think you'd be doing?
Probably open up a clothing business.
So fashion is one of your things?
I like fashion. I gotten into fashion a lot lately over the last 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
So maybe modeling might be in it. Because you say you look good, right?
Yeah, hey.
Now you say you look good until you put the clothes on. Maybe that's the way it works.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And now it's Shawn Marion rising up straight and sweet for the Matrix.
When you talk about style, one thing that's really stylish about you is your jump shot. Nobody shoots like you shoot. It's obviously effective.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a little different.
A little different. Okay, I stick my butt out. Okay, so what? So what? I mean, I got the same. It's just right there. One more.
It's just the way you do it.
Yeah, hey, I get buckets. Yeah, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Let me out there. I'm gonna shoot that thing.
Has anybody ever tried to change your shot? Never. And at any level.
Don't fix it if it ain't broke. You know? I'm not changing nothing. I'm 7 years strong, baby, and still going. I'm not changing nothing. I'm loving just being able to go out there and do a job I love doing.
And Shawn Marion.
And compete against the best players in the world. That's unbelievable. I never take for granted. You know, it can be gone tomorrow. But right now, today, I'm enjoying life.
And impressive about this season, I know Amari Stoudemire is not there to take the shots, but he's also not there to take away the attention. And Shawn Marion has thrived in that role. A dozen of the Phoenix 60 in Cleveland this afternoon.
Without Amari Stoudemire, the Suns lead Cleveland 60-51. But Amari, as Snapper Jones says, he's got the itch, man. He's out there in his civilian clothes during the 3 second-half shoot-around. We welcome you back with Snapper Jones and Mr. Walton. And Bill, can the Cavaliers dig their way back into this?
They're only going to be able to if LeBron can assert his control. He has not played well, and he has had no support from his other front court mates because Drew Gooden and Ilgauskas have played a combined 26 minutes, and they only have contributed 1 basket on 4 attempts. That will not get it done.
No, the front line hasn't done the job for them that they need to do, and if they get those guys involved in the game, they certainly have a chance to come back against Phoenix. What they've got to do is cut down on the field goal percentage of the Phoenix Suns, which is way up there.
Well, fast break points for Phoenix, plus 16. Field goal percentage, plus 21 for Phoenix. The guards off the bench for Mike D'Antoni, 22 points between James Jones and Eddie House, and our own Mark Jones has plenty more here on our halftime report.
All right, thanks a lot, Bill. Yeah, I just spoke with head coach Mike Brown a few moments ago. He says the focus of their defensive attentions here in the second half, transition defense. You guys alluded to it, far too many breakouts. They talked about, quote unquote, loading up and not letting Phoenix leak out on him as many break opportunities. On the offensive end of things, they say they want to get LeBron James into some more side and middle pick and roll actions and get him to attack the basket a lot more, guys. Back to you.
All right, Mark, and there's LeBron. Mike Brown, incidentally, is the second youngest active head coach in the NBA. He's only 35 years old, and only Lawrence Frank in New Jersey is younger, and that's by 5 months, Bill.
Mike, the Phoenix Suns, the great fast-breaking tempo that they play. They had 20 fast break points and only 6 turnovers, and of those 6, 2 of those were on offensive goaltending calls, and at least one of those calls was inaccurate. So they mishandled the ball, the Phoenix Suns, only 4 times, despite the blistering pace that D'Antoni just loves.
We saw the star comparison, and the Cavs got Steve Nash to be a scorer, but he shot 70% against them, so they got to shut down that percentage for him as they try to get a 2-man game between Ilgauskas and LeBron James.
As Ilgauskas' only field goal left baseline at the other side of the floor, so he's 2 for 2 from that spot.
But he's down on the floor now. You got to push the ball and get an opportunity.
There is Thomas. He was sealed up, so Barbosa.
Barbosa, 2 touches here, Brent, to start the third, and 2 terrible bricks.
And if you're wondering why Raja Bell is not out there, a thigh contusion is keeping him sidelined. Incidentally, this is the first game that he has missed. He had started each of the Suns' 43 previous games. You know, Raja Bell is one of 6 undrafted players in the NBA who had started every game, and that streak comes to an end. The ones that are still alive: Ben Wallace, Mush Parker, Udonis Haslem, Brad Miller, and Bruce Bowen. Down to 5 now. Barbosa at the other end. And this time he earns his way to the free throw line, but he has dominated the game here early in the second half.
Well, the one thing that, Mike D'Antoni told us is I give my players the freedom to attack. And whenever they're in transition, anything that they can create is fine with him. Barbosa going to the line. I think you'd rather see him trying to take it to the rim than pop from the outside right now, get something going, because he did not have a big offensive first half.
You know, it's a short rotation for Phoenix. D'Antoni's used only 7 players, but off the bench, James Jones and Eddie House, a combined 22 points. 10 Jones, 12 House. So huge games by those 2. Kept them ahead, and Cleveland is trying to chip their way back into this.
Mike Brown for Cleveland has to say control the paint area. That's where our edge is. Can we milk Ilgauskas, who is playing the best center position of anyone in the entire NBA these days?
Clifton has not contributed much to this game so far.
Well, they should go in and out, and they don't. LeBron James deep. You know, and I think when you're trying to get back in the game, you've got to shy away from the 3-point field goal if you're LeBron James. In Phoenix, LeBron James was 18 of 28. He's going to miss more than 10 shots tonight.
Back to Kurt Thomas. Nice air ball right into Thomas's hands, and he closes it out.
What a nice pass by Steve Nash, seeing the defense coming and closing out on him and just throwing it to the weak side. Kurt Thomas wide open.
They're not giving him an assist. They're not giving him an assist. He leads them in assists. He leads them in assists, but he's not getting an assist on that.
PR man for Nash. Ilgauskas been wanting to keep him very active in that MVP race. And what a battle that's going to be in the NBA this year. Here's Thomas again. Good perimeter shooter.
So you get within 5 or 6 points, and suddenly shot selection is shot at the other end of the floor, and Phoenix is back up by 11. If you're going to keep coming on them, you got to make them defend. You got to break them down at this end of the floor.
Phoenix has been in control throughout without a strong performance from Boris Diaw. If he ever comes alive, watch out.
LeBron short on that shot. Here's Barbosa. Great dribble through the baseline that time.
Pavlovich they spun him around. He was like a top.
Pick and roll. Back to Thomas in low. Knocked away. And here's Sean Marion's 3. Another one of Bill Walton's passes.
Diaw has to shoot that ball. He's wide open underneath the basket. He's kicking it out.
Diaw is a reluctant offensive player, and everyone that has watched him play should understand that, know that he's going to pitch it out.
Here is one stat working against Phoenix. That is the 4th foul on Thomas. It's been a very short-handed bench over there. Now the bad is right away James Jones checking back into the game, and Thomas going to take a seat.
Brent, Kurt Thomas is the most foul-prone player in the history of basketball. Fouls committed per minute play. No one fouls at a greater rate than Kurt Thomas.
Pavlovich. And Gooden with an offensive rebound with Thomas on the bench, and a terrific block by Diaw.
See, the Suns do a good job of smothering inside. If you don't hit them quickly when you're trying to get inside, they all pack it back in. And Gooden thought he had a chance to put this one back up. Sean Marion came, or it was Boris Diaw that came from the side to slap it away.
Amazingly, the Phoenix Suns best in the NBA at defending the center position.
There they are right there. But sticking with it to Ilgauskas, and he missed it. Tracked down, Marion saves it.
Push the ball, finds Stevie Nash in transition. This is that mismatch once again.
And still blazing away is James Jones, his third 3-ball, 13 for the game.
And that was a bad trade-off. Thomas goes out of the ball game. James Jones comes in. He had a big first half, so he comes in with a lot of confidence and unloads right away.
And if you're LeBron James, you've got to think about playing in the middle of the floor and then getting down the lane to the hoop as opposed to jacking him up from three-point lane.
5 on the clock.
To Gooden underneath. And on the stripper, 24-second violation. You heard it go off, and it'll be out of bounds sideline for the Suns, who are on a 9-0 run right now.
Dick Bavetta makes the call, the strip down low, which is all you can do as a Phoenix Sun. You're so little. They come in, looked like a lot of arm on that play defensively, but Dick Bavetta makes the call. Only 2 referees in all of NBA history in the Basketball Hall of Fame, Sid Morsha and Earl Strong. Will Dick Bavetta be the third?
Nailing the 3-ball is Barbosa. That's his first 3-point field goal, and now off on this 12-0 run, and the Suns are starting to pull away, bro.
Wasn't this just a 5 or 6 point game about 30 seconds ago?
Exactly. And then that 12-0 run, and it's over just like that against the Suns. That's how fast they can hit you.
Time for LeBron to come alive.
The NBA on ABC, brought to you by the 2006 Lincoln Zephyr. Lincoln, reach higher.
Well, a 12-0 run in 3 minutes and 13 seconds for the Suns has them leading at 72-55. What do we make of LeBron James' first 200 games, Snapper?
Well, the one thing that we know is he can do this. He can drive the ball. He can really punish opponents, and that's what he should be thinking about doing for the rest of his ball game. They don't have a matchup that can deal with his power and force on the way to the rim, but he has had a tough time making that decision in a half-court set, so they've got to break him out.
And an analysis of LeBron James' first 200 games compared with Michael Jordan and Oscar Robertson. Oscar and Michael better scorers. Oscar certainly the strongest rebounder of them all and the greatest assist man. LeBron James younger through those first 200 games. LeBron James on his way. And LeBron James yet to be in the playoffs, which was not the case with Jordan or Oscar Robertson.
No, in and out there.
And Cleveland right now working on the longest playoff drought in the entire NBA. 13 years they have not been in the playoffs.
Well, here's an interesting stat regarding LeBron James' first 200 games, folks. In his first 100 games, he averaged 21.8. Now, in the next 100, he has averaged 29.2, and I think it shows you the maturity. When you come just out of high school, you know, they talk about youngsters who go to college for 1 or 2 years, the maturity that they have when they come into the NBA. It's well, you've seen it, though.
And Amari Stoudemire, another one of the players that did not go. But LeBron James is clearly in a class by himself. He is the first to everything in the history of the NBA, and that will continue. But right now, it's Steve Nash and his Phoenix Suns just executing Cleveland right off their own court. Beautiful penetration and dish.
Now, when they get these shots, they've got to run. They've got to make the push. They can't just trot the ball up the floor. They got to be in an attack mode. See how Phoenix has got everybody back in, packing the paint, so they make it tough for James to get inside.
Pavlovich nails the 3. That's what they need, Snapper.
Yeah, they've got to have, that's what Pavlovich's strength is, shooting the ball. And he has got to be more aggressive in looking for his shots. Mismatch here, Ilgauskas against Nash.
While it worked that time for Cleveland, I think they have to stop switching. Because every time up until that point, Steve Nash has just torched the big man.
No penetrating Bill, and gives it to Ilgauskas, and he's on the free throw line, and that's where you want him to make his living here in the second half. He shot 3 free throws in the first half, made all 3. And if you could get Zydrunas on that free throw line, you get a chance to come back, keep the clock stopped. That's a 4th foul on Diaw. He joins Thomas. Remember, Raja Bell not playing because of an injury. D'Antoni shorthanded.
But why would you go for a pump fake and then give up penetration to Eric Snow, who created that ball for Ilgauskas to get to the free throw line?
Well, a reminder tomorrow on NBA TV, Portland at Seattle. Coverage begins at 10 Eastern. Thursday on TNT, Cleveland at Miami. LeBron and Shaq. San Antonio at Golden State. And then next Sunday here on ABC Super Sunday, Houston at the New York Knicks.
When is Miami going to start beating the good teams?
Now they're over for the season. Okay.
When are the Miami Heat going to get in shape necessary to play championship-level basketball?
I can't imagine who he's referring to.
He hasn't put a name on it.
Oh, you noticed that,
This is a team game.
LeBron James is being guarded by James Jones. He's got to look to drive that ball.
Jones stripped it.
But again, it's a gang defense that they're throwing at LeBron James. So you got to make a decision early. He's not happy with that possession.
James picks up the personal foul.
Now watch all of the people converge on LeBron James. You don't handle the ball, and then you reach in and pick up the cheap foul.
You got 5 guys around you. You would think that somebody else might be open there.
You got to be able to see him. He's got pretty good vision, but from where he was, he had no chance to make a play to anybody. So he's got to make offensive decisions quicker, more decisively.
Now they come with Diaw running the show. What a pass. Wow. And Drew Gooden looks over at the coach and says, hey, what's going on here? And Mike Brown just says, don't look over here. You're the one that's got to make the defensive play. And that's the Morris Diaw that we've grown to know and love.
Oh, there's another one out there?
Yeah, the one that didn't play in the first half.
Marshall off the Cavaliers bench. That's the 3 from the corner. Back down to 10. Both David Jones and Marshall are on the floor. Coach Brown is looking for that outside firepower. Diaw penetrates and lays it in.
Coming alive, Boris Diaw. Somebody might want to tell the Cavaliers that he's right-handed and promises to be so throughout this game.
And that would mean they should overplay him.
James back at you. Chance for a 3 for LeBron.
When he takes it to the hoop, things happen for LeBron and his team. But while they make all this talk, the power of LeBron James, the incredible numbers that Brent you had, with all the additions that Cleveland made in the offseason, they had a better record last year at the same time.
Change that previous foul. Diaw didn't pick it up, so now he is sitting on 4. We get confirmation that across the way they had changed that foul to Marion that I previously said belonged to Diaw. Now he's kicking. Jones comes back and knocks it down again. Somebody's got to get on him.
But Boris Diaw is showing why he's such a special player. One of the 3 unique players on this Phoenix Suns squad, along with Sean Marion and Steve Nash. But he's just dribbling at his teammate's opponent to set him up for wide-open threes.
LeBron's turn for the 3 ball, and it's down to 9. So the long-range gunners are bringing the Cavaliers back.
Well, the Cavs have gotten the 3-point shot to go in, and they get a steal there. But their goal should be to try to be within 4 or 5 points. Holy crap, he carried that ball and got away with it.
James with the steal at the other end. Nails it here offensively, and now they're within 7, and D'Antoni is upset. The Cleveland Cavaliers, with LeBron James scoring 10 points this quarter, are back in the thick of it here in Cleveland.
Just pulling his way right through Sean Marion. Phoenix desperately needs to regroup.
Right here it is 79-72. The Suns, and that once 18-point lead's been whittled to 7. And there is the Pittsburgh Steelers jerseys here in Cleveland, taking life into their hands. But next week, they'll move center stage in Detroit when they take on Seattle. Snapper Jones, who do you like in that game?
I've been on the bus the entire playoffs. I've been with Jerome Bettis and the Steelers. I'm not getting off of them now. This is the first appearance for the Seahawks. Could be tough for a first-time team.
We will get Mr. Waltons in the fourth quarter. We'll let him think about that and see how knocks it down here, Bill.
Terrific execution out of the timeout, countering the fact that LeBron James had just scored 8 points in the last 54 seconds. D'Antoni showing why, once again, why he is the reigning coach of the year in the NBA.
LeBron James now 9 of 19, make it 10 of 20. And when he goes to the rim, he is so strong.
Well, he's got quickness. He's got the ability to handle the ball on the fly. As Shawn Marion tried to throw that one down.
But again, the pass by Boris Diaw, who has taken over. Steve Nash, who had 3 assists only in the first half, had 3 early in the third quarter. But Steve Nash has really not had the monstrously impressive game that we expected him to have as a scorer this afternoon, Steve.
Well, no, he's had the game as a scorer. He has not had the game as an assist guy. He had the first half. He was 7 of 10. So he has done what Mike Brown wanted him to do, shoot rather than pass. I'm not sure that Brown figured that Diaw was going to take his place and find Shawn Marion and company at the rim.
Cleveland's hot right now. They came out and missed their first 9 shots here in the third. But then they've made 5 straight right now. Get the ball here in LeBron's hands. Spread the floor. Let him get to the hoop right down the middle. Watch out. Oh.
Wow. Should have been a ball there. And a putback. I thought for sure there'd be a whistle on that snap over the head. LeBron comes up a little gimpy.
Phoenix has to capitalize right now. Let him back in.
He banged that.
He banged that pretty good.
Yeah, there was no question that he got fouled.
Okay. Take it over if you want to.
Let's take a look at this because I was waiting for the whistle and the putback came and LeBron.
He's been coming right. And then the defensive rotation. I'm not sure if that's a foul.
Yeah, you don't. Neither am I.
The guy wasn't out in front of the lane.
But there's no contact, Steve. There's
contact.
Very little contact there. He goes around him.
Was he inside that arc also there?
Yeah, he was.
I think that's a foul.
It's a foul all the way.
Definitely
on Mozart's birthday, it's a foul.
Nash on the pull-up.
Smoking as a true gunner there, Steve.
Nash's first 2 in the second half. LeBron trying to work it out. Could be won by Dick the veteran saying, you owe me.
And down away on the inside.
So if you're LeBron James, and if you're healthy enough, just get the ball and go right to the hoop. You get right back to the free throw line.
Barbosa picks up the personal foul. Well, LeBron put 8 points up in less than a minute, Bill, and he's still gimpy on that right leg, trying to play through it here.
Brown is over there saying, "You didn't see my guy. You didn't see him get knocked down."
The other thing is, ever notice how coaches don't like to look at stars when they're a little gimpy out there? They kind of like look any direction but that. You know, just come on, LeBron, just get through it. He sneaks a peek. Now, is that the?
That is the same.
Is
right
that the
knee.
same leg?
Same right knee that forced him to wear the tights after the Golden State game, where he only had 14 and came right back the next game at Utah, which started his current 4-game winning streak, where LeBron had 51.
What the Cavs want to do is keep this lead at 8 and under, so they got to do a good job in the half-court defensive set. They got to rebound the ball and then get out.
Jones tried to push it. House off the bench.
Finally, Cleveland's defense forced Steve Nash back to his right.
Puts it down, he attacks. So now that the Cavaliers are going to the rim, Bill, it's a different game.
It's all changing. Momentum swinging mightily toward the home team here. The determination by Drew Gooden. Very little contact there.
Enough to get a call. That's all we need is enough to get a call to get to the free throw line.
And now we've got 5 on Diaw. So let's keep an eye on that. That's a big number because the Suns are already shorthanded.
Huge number because now they got to come back with Pat Burke, and Burke is more of a banger, and he's not going to be able to pass and set up people, so it's going to put more pressure on Steve Nash to make the play.
And, you know, Burke could stand down to that low block if they're going to attack and take a few fouls and not let him to the rim, Bill.
And with Kurt Thomas already saddled with 4 fouls, Mike D'Antoni is in a world of hurt, and Steve Nash is going to have to come alive offensively. Somebody has to get a hot stroke from behind the arc for Phoenix. They're going to hold on here.
Crowd senses it too.
2 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
8 on the clock. Marion jumped to Burke with the left hand, missed it. Now we're inside of 2 minutes. The Cavaliers on a 25-13 run. 25-13 to get back in it.
What James has got to do is not settle. He takes this deep three.
Yes. LeBron James makes it a 2-point game. 85-83.
The mismatch that has not worked at all for Cleveland.
Well, they're not going to get hurt with Burke handling the ball right there. Almost a turnover.
Marion. Cleveland couldn't tie it or take the lead with a 3.
And LeBron James is dancing
for the lead. Bad miss. Tracked down, though, by Danielle Marshall. Second chance at it. Knocked out of bounds with the Cavaliers ball. 19 on the shot. Minute left here in the third quarter. LeBron, 15 of his 27 this quarter.
As he grows, you know, you always want to make that big home run and get your crowd on top. But if you're in your situation there, take the 2. Keep the pressure on the defense. Put the pressure on the officials. Drive that ball to the rim. He's been unstoppable whenever he's decided to go inside and take it hard to the rim.
Rajon on the floor for the Cavs. For the tie, missing again and into Marion's hands.
LeBron's just looking to shoot every time he touches it.
Wow. Well, back into his hands.
Well, it's not a bad thought, but it's how you get the shot. When he's coming hard to the rim, they have trouble dealing with him. The turnover there again, so LeBron's had the ball the last 3 times, not been able to get anything, but his decision in the last possession was the best of the other 2 because he was trying to get inside.
Steve, LeBron's always noted as a great team player. In these last few possessions, he is just predetermined that he's going to jack it up.
So he's not a team player anymore?
Back outside, Jones misses this time. Cavaliers ball.
Last shot time, they'll walk it up. Crowd rises as one.
Attack. And he's on the free throw line. Well, he will shoot free throws for the tie.
You know, last year when they played the same Phoenix Suns team, and Phoenix was drubbing them going into the fourth, LeBron James was sitting on the bench in the third watching his team fall back. He decided right then and there he was going to make a difference. He came in and finished the game with 17 in the fourth quarter. So I don't know what team play is, but you got to do whatever you need to do to get the win.
Now the one for the tie.
Working his way towards quite possibly yet another 40-point performance. Well, particularly since the big men for Phoenix are in such serious foul trouble. Thomas and Diop, 4 and 5 respectively.
Jones comes out of the ball game. Pavlovich comes out. Snow and Newell come in. And LeBron makes 1 of 2.
They're going to call a foul here on Andy Varejao.
5.9.
Put Sean Marion on the free throw line. Outstanding free throw shooter.
Well, Cleveland will get 1 more possession to close out the third quarter. So what they got to do is figure out where they want to get the score right now. Damon Jones is coming back in the game as well as Foster Pavlovich, who they had taken out in hopes of getting defensive stops with Newbill and Snow coming in.
Back to 2.
Burke coming back in the game.
If you're Phoenix, stay up defensively. Pressure the advance of the ball. Maybe even double team LeBron James early. Make him give it up.
Yeah, this was a bad foul for Cleveland. They had things working their way, and suddenly they're coming down here and a scoring opportunity for the Suns. It was on the free throw line where it was committed. Now they've got 5.9 to do something about it. Here they come now.
Where's the double team? Why are they backing up off LeBron?
The three is off to the right. That'll bring it to an end.
And that foul that you mentioned, Brent, it took the crowd out of the game, which was surging at the end of the quarter.
There's your star comparison. LeBron James with 6 hoops this quarter.
And here is a look at all of them. Coming off the screen from the weak side. Drains the jumper.
Well, the one thing that LeBron did in that third quarter was use his size and his strength and take advantage of some open opportunities to get those scores.
The complete arsenal on display here. LeBron James getting to the hoop, knocking down three-pointers.
And this presentation of the NBA on ABC continues after this message and a word from our ABC station. A 28-point game for LeBron James and 16 in the third quarter puts the Cavaliers back in the thick of it here. And we can take a look, Bill, at the shot zone.
Which indicates that LeBron James should go to the hoop. Now, his field goal percentage is decent, but if you throw out all the perimeter stuff, particularly the ones right in front of the basket, way outside the key, then it's much, much improved. If LeBron would just eschew the three-point shot and get to the hoop, he'll have a monster quarter, and the graph there is very, very strong.
Well, you see what his quarter production is for the season, and he is up for 18 in the third and draws a foul to start the beginning of the fourth.
At the free throw line, the Cavaliers, Bill, are 15 of 21. LeBron, though, only 50%. He's 4 of 8.
Ever since they did not call the foul where LeBron banged that knee, every time they've gone to the hoop, Cleveland has earned a trip to the free throw line.
What are you saying about the officials? They can be influenced?
I didn't say that, Steve.
LeBron got the first.
It's a Tuesday of NBA here on ABC and ESPN. Remember now, still coming up, Miami against Houston. Then at 6:30, remind you of on ESPN, the Lakers and Detroit. We'll watch Kobe Bryant against that Piston defense tonight. Barbosa up firing. And off the miss, the Cavaliers come down, trailing it by 2.
But a lot of factors working against Phoenix right now, Brent.
On the drive, left hand ties it at 87.
You got Steve Nash on the bench. You got an injured Raja Bell. Foul trouble for the Bigs. A plummeting field goal percentage. And only 2 fast break points in the entire third quarter for Phoenix. And when are they going to start playing their game again?
That ends an 0 for 6 drought.
Eddie House got a mismatch and made it work. As Pat Burke said, take him. And he gets his first 2 here in the second half.
14 for the game because he had a dozen snapper in that first half. David Jones passed up the 3. Daniel will not. Tap, yes, it's good. Baraja.
Been a major contributor for Mike Brown here, and D'Antoni could not be happy in bringing in Kurt Thomas off the bench right now. The defensive rebounding is vaporized for Phoenix.
That Burke is his second in close.
That is the second one of those. You know what they're saying? You are 6'10". Can you figure out a way to put the cap on that instead of laying it up?
Damon Jones this time misses. Barbosa, he's had a career high in assists with 8. Yanks down his second rebound of the game. And here's Burke. Will he miss again? We'll find out at the free throw line.
On the previous possession for Cleveland, the long jumper by Daniel Marshall. Because of the mismatches and the foul trouble for Phoenix, no one is able to keep Andy Varajo off the offensive glass. Second chance points, Cavaliers have a +9 advantage throughout the afternoon.
Well, I think for Cleveland, as they're a team that's trying to evolve and make the playoffs, they've got to learn how to win these games. They've got to figure out how to come off the floor once they get in a tie situation to push past and not think, well, let's make the big play right here with 10 minutes left in the game, and that's going to carry us the rest of the period. LeBron James walking it up.
Damon stays at the perimeter with 10 now on the shot.
A lot of dribblings for Damon Jones.
Made the field goal off of it. Deadlocks it at 91 with 9.5 to go here in regulation. House tied up, Burke again and low, and he traveled.
Pat Burke, the fourth big man for Mike D'Antoni, forced into extensive action here late as Steve Nash, the reigning MVP, sits it out. And he's coming in quickly.
Kurt Thomas comes into the game. Nash is going to try to get in the game as well. I don't know if he said he was at the scores table in time, so he's going to have to wait. But you know a guy has trouble when he points at his feet and when the referee calls travel. And that's Pat Burke. He's saying, look, that foot didn't move.
Pavlovich in the paint. Battle for rebound. Suns control.
Somebody's got to keep Varejao off the offensive glass.
Well, that's just the strength of his game is activity on both boards, and he does it well. So he's one of those guys that can make things happen, and Cleveland needs that. Get a foul against Eddie House on the charge.
Varejao stepping in, taking the punishment. Eddie House cannot believe it.
Now, he said the man set up inside that area, and now Pavetta says, get away from me. And he may tee him up. If he turns back around, he did not. House saved the technical. Pavetta was going to tee him up. Take a look at this, folks, and see if he had a beat. Deadlocked at 91.
Mike Tirico in New York, a Taco Bell update. You're seeing one of the great members of the draft class of 2003. Another one, Dwayne Wade will be in action. Wade and the Miami Heat taking on the Houston Rockets. That game 2 of our doubleheader. Brent, that starts at the bottom of the hour.
All right, Mike, we look forward to that. And here, the Cleveland Cavaliers are doing the job on the glass against the Phoenix Suns. Out-rebounding them 39-25. 14 offensive rebounds for the Cavaliers, leading to 11 second chance points. They've held the Suns to only 2. And now deadlocked at 91, just inside of 9 minutes. The Cavaliers looking for the lead. They did have a 4-point bulge very early in this game.
Their defense has come alive as well, Brent. And that has taken the momentum away from Phoenix, because with 3 minutes to go in the third, the Suns were shooting 63%. Since that point, though, Phoenix 1 for 8 shooting with 2 turnovers.
Marion on a sloppy inbounds pass, went to save it out of bounds. Ball goes over to the Suns. So the Cavaliers very careless that time with the basketball, and turnover number 10 for the home team.
Can't lay the ball out there like that against Sean Marion. Quick hands and quick feet, he'll get to it. That's the mistake that LeBron James made.
House misses the 3, and there's another Cavalier rebound. LeBron pisses it in for the Cleveland lead.
The way he gathered himself after initiating the comment, and he's doing this against Sean Marion, one of the premier defenders in all the NBA.
House has the tie, 93-all, just inside of 8 minutes.
Eddie House is going to shoot every time he touches the ball.
But that's his job. His job is to make things happen at the offensive end. What you got to do is continue to score against it.
How do you get a job like that?
You got to be able to make shots.
Regaining the lead for the Cavaliers.
Steve Nash touching the stomach there, just calling for that high screen.
There's House again, missing the 3. Long rebound, Pavlovich. Out of the Cavaliers once trailed this one by 18.
When Sean Marion comes that far out, LeBron James has got to go right at him real quickly. Don't wait around. Don't hesitate. Get into the paint.
Marshall airballs the 3. And here's House again.
That shot was missed so badly you can hardly get that air ball out.
But why is your power forward shooting so many threes?
Well, that's what he does.
They've turned it over to the Cavaliers.
10 turnovers on the night. Steve Nash, who leads the NBA in turnovers. The bump, the initiation, wonderful touch off the glass, and Pavlovich just overpowering Steve Nash.
6:53 to go in the game. The Cavaliers, if they want to put this away, have to continue to build on the lead. Phoenix is way too dangerous offensively. They have been quiet here, but they can explode. So you got to keep the heat on their defense. Raymond Jones.
Inspiring battle rebound. Diaw playing with 5 fouls. Dug that one out. Barbosa go to the rim. And LeBron James blocks it from behind. LeBron at the other end slams it. Oh, baby! A block at one end and a slam dunk at the other. King James indeed. Nash's 3. James with the rebound. Who else?
Phoenix has fallen apart. LeBron is unstoppable here.
The fade. Off Marion, tapped it.
All the Cavs point this way. The official points the other way, but this was just a tremendous one-man effort by LeBron James.
Barbosa was wide open, the block from behind. And then in transition, Diaw, knowing he has 5 fouls, the statuesque trying to take the charge. LeBron, too good.
Timeout. James and the Cavaliers lead it by 4. Football, no problem. The NBA moves center stage. This is just the hors d'oeuvre. Coming up after this, Shaquille O'Neal and Miami against Tracy McGrady and the Houston Rockets. Then tonight, Kobe Bryant tests that tough Detroit D. That's on ESPN at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. What a day for the NBA. And here, LeBron James, Bill Walton, a 33-point game.
And he's done everything for his team to completely turn this game in Cleveland's favor. Doing it on the defensive end, over the top. Tough pass by Boris Diaw. Marion could not time it.
44 rebounds to 27 Cavaliers.
They stepped it up, and they're making it very difficult for the Phoenix Suns to get second opportunities.
Knocked away.
They are going to get off of Eric Snow.
If you're Cleveland, if you're Phoenix defensively, I think you start double teaming LeBron, take the ball out of his hands. If he gets in transition, just take a foul. He's not making his foul shots, and that will deflate this crowd, which has just come so alive here.
He's only 5 of 10 at the free throw line.
8 on the clock.
Marshall's 3 rims out into the hands of Nash. Look down the floor for the play. There's that high pick and roll signal. Nash spins and a blocking foul against the Cavaliers.
These big guys
by the Brazilians.
These big guys for Cleveland are just going to the ground very easily.
The one thing that Barrejo has given, though, is somebody that is willing to go out and try to make an effort against Steve Nash and make it tough for him to get inside to make the pass. Couldn't sell that one that time, so Nash and company get the call.
But how is little Stevie Nash going to knock down Anderson Barrage?
He got by him that time and somehow got it to fall. And it's a 2-point game again. Crunch time, the last 5 minutes.
For the rare times you'll see little Stevie try to finish with his right hand in the paint area.
They have done a really good job of slowing Phoenix down.
A 2 for James. 99-95 as we head for that 200 figure here.
Phoenix always distinguishes themselves as one of the best conditioned teams in the entire NBA. Will Cleveland be able to hang with the pace?
Well, they've only scored 8 points in the quarter. That's what turned in more than anything else. When they were scoring, they were tough to deal with.
5 on the shot. And Thomas coming in over the top on James, and that is number 5 on him.
How tough is LeBron, though, just standing. He's got the center on his back, Kurt Thomas. LeBron going for this. He already made the great defensive stop of the afternoon. Now fighting to extend that domination by Cleveland on the defensive board.
Again, LeBron James is 6'8", 250. This is a big, strong guy. I don't care how big and strong Kurt Thomas is. He's going to have to come through him to get to that ball.
And Tony will sit Thomas with 5. Diaw stays on the floor with 5.
Very small lineup for Phoenix.
And LeBron buries another 3. 102-95 and a 40-point afternoon for King James.
This is a lot like the 40-point game he had last year, but they had to go to overtime to get him 49.
Nash back at you, and the Cavaliers control another rebound. Lead it by 7. The double-double and a 40-point scoring game. Here he comes again on the run-through. Looking for the assist. Marshall couldn't make the 3.
Phoenix is in big trouble right now. No one's playing well. LeBron James is in the zone.
3 assists away from a triple-double for LeBron James, and he could have had one right there.
You see Steve Nash finish that shot after they blew him for 3, shot it backwards. Pulls up in the face of Sean Marion, a premier defender. Again, they're backing up. They're not handling that screen and roll very effectively at all, Snap.
Well, you know, LeBron was missing that shot earlier. Now he has warmed up, and he feels good about taking that shot. He's got 12 in the quarter. Nash with a miss.
And rotating in for Raja. He has been a factor in this game for the Cavaliers. Did not play on Friday night, but the Brazilian has brought a little game here today.
Now Sean Marion is left out to dry out there.
Well, they want to go pick and roll, and they'll leave Eric Snow open. Got to make that shot. Didn't make it.
5 on the shot. Pavlovich down the lane. No, wave it off. Offensive foul is called against him on the turnover. Suns ball.
Finally, Phoenix made a defensive adjustment and double-teamed LeBron James and put the ball in the hands of Eric Snow, and they finally get the ball back.
So an 18-point lead has disappeared for Phoenix.
LeBron James over 40 in the game you're watching. Tracy McGrady went over 40 on Sunday and Monday of this past week. Probably have to do it again for Houston to have a hope against Miami. That's the next one, Brent.
All right, Mike, a 40-point afternoon for LeBron James. In the last timeout, listen to Coach D'Antoni.
Hey, down on the other end, everybody's got to run back in below James. Everybody, all 5 guys below it. Make him make jump shots.
And LeBron James did just that, made jump shots. 16 of 31 from the field. And the 40-point game, Steve.
When he makes jump shots, it's good balance. He goes straight up. You don't get him fading or leaning, and that's when he's got a good chance of being successful.
But LeBron has outscored the entire Phoenix team by himself, 12-8 in this fourth quarter. He's had 26 points, LeBron has, in the last 14 minutes and 10 seconds. That's a 48-minute pace of 89-point game.
The Suns have missed 15 of their last 18 shots with that miss. Diaw in the paint, and a foul against the Cavaliers.
This is the thing that can help the Phoenix Suns, is taking advantage of mismatches and getting to the free throw line, or stopping the clock and giving themselves a chance to reload. D'Antoni knows that what the strength of their game is making shots, and when they don't, then they got to find other ways to score and stay in the game.
But D'Antoni is really up against it. The clock, a major factor here. Nobody's hot. Sean Marion has not made a basket in the last 15 minutes, and I'm not sure when the last time Steve Nash played this poorly.
What? He played a great first half. Now all of a sudden he stinks?
Steve, it's a 48-minute game, and in the second half they have not played good ball.
And Cleveland is helping them out.
No, foul.
I'm going to call a foul against Eric Snow over the top, but you have to remember.
Samari, you getting a phone call or something during the game? Well, you're down 7, Phoenix is.
Yeah, but this doesn't help the Cavaliers when they start becoming crazy with three-point shots. You got the lead. Grind that game out. Make the opponent have to foul you. Go to the free throw line and make some shots yourself. Eric Snow pleading his case, but to no avail, and James Jones will go to the line.
Phoenix, the #2 free throw shooting team in the entire NBA, behind the Sacramento Kings. Cavaliers, on the other hand, 10th in the league in free throw shooting.
Cannot believe you've given up on little Stevie Nash.
Damon Jones ready to check back in for the Cavaliers. Snow picking up his 5th foul. Was unhappy about the call, as you see.
But you know, if you're Cleveland, you got to play smart to finish off this team. Even though they have not scored big, they now got a chance to get to 10 in this quarter. They're still dangerous. 2 minutes left in the game. It's a 5-point game. This game is not in the books.
The Cavaliers have done this with Ilgauskas on the bench. They went small, they spread the floor, and they attacked the rim from the perimeter. And Ilgauskas has been a spectator.
They're trying to close that lane on LeBron James.
And they cannot. 42 points for LeBron, and Phoenix has no defensive answer to it.
The only time they have been successful, Brent, is when they tried to double team him.
Jones off a nice fake. But good recovery by Baraja.
His relentless effort is inspiration. He has helped turn this game in conjunction with LeBron James' individual brilliance on the offensive end.
Good coaching by Mike Brown and his staff. They found a lineup that worked. Kept Ilgauskas out of it. Spread it. And now Marshall comes down the baseline. And the Cavaliers are pulling away. D'Antoni can't be happy about baseline defense like that. In crunch time, you can't let him get to the rim.
You got to keep the pressure on if you're LeBron James against the Phoenix interior where there's no shot blocking. His size and strength pays off, pushes the lead back to 7, and then Daniel Marshall decides, I don't need a 3-point field goal.
Yeah, and we'll kick the extra point to boot.
Kind of unheard of in the NBA. I know Yao and Tracy have been hurt, but Houston has lost 8 of its last 9 at home. Trying to turn it around with Shaq and Dwayne Wade in town. Miami-Houston coming up next. Back to Brent.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. And now it is time, Mr. Walton. I know you have studied tendencies of the Steelers and the Seahawks. We have all been waiting for your Super Bowl pick, sir.
The bus came by and I got on. It's where it all began. It was Cowboy Jerome at the wheel on a bus to never, ever land.
That's wonderful.
Pittsburgh Steelers, Maurice Lucas's hometown. How could you go against that harmonic convergence?
That's wonderful. Here's Nash. Defender falls down, not there. Battle for that rebound. Cavs have got it. The Cavaliers, Steve, have outscored Phoenix 42-21 over the last 16 minutes. LeBron has 28 of the 42 points.
Well, now they're going to use some clock. All Phoenix wants to do is get the ball out of his hands. If you're the Cavaliers, you want to take a shot. Don't give them a turnover. Sean Marion coming quick.
And that's goaltending. That time didn't quite get there, and it's 106-99 here.
Phoenix has to foul immediately. They're out of time. And they have to hope that there's a monumental collapse. The explosiveness, once you get that ball up in the board, not even LeBron James is allowed to take that off.
And there is just what you call for, the quick foul.
LeBron not shooting the free throws well. 5 for 10 on the afternoon.
Well, they have to take the ball out of bounds. No penalty situation yet. The next one will be in the penalty, but their only hope is to try to steal and then foul. And they didn't really make a good attempt at trying to steal the ball, so LeBron walked through the line.
This is interesting that with 6 minutes left in the third quarter, right? That's when Mike Brown took Ilgauskas out of the game. Phoenix was up at the time, 72-61, and he had that wide spacing, left the lane. It's interesting, Bill, because you've always told me this is a game of matchups.
And the fact that Cleveland was able to exploit the loss of Raja Bell, which totally changed D'Antoni's rotation. He was going to have Raja Bell guard LeBron James. Now you have Sean Marion. Sean Marion was going to be the rover. But then with the spread floor, which is always, I think, the key to a player like LeBron James' skills. That's why I question some of the personnel moves that Cleveland made in terms of building for the future around LeBron.
That was one of the advantages of the triangle with Michael Jordan. When you would pull that center out about 14, 15 feet, Tex Winter's offense, which Phil Jackson picked up on, it worked, and it was so effective because of the spacing that the Bulls always had when they came down the floor. There wasn't just one guy, down in that low block.
And when you look, Brent, at trying to build along the lines of that great Chicago team, you have to think about the interchangeability of parts and the versatility. But all the different players that they brought in, so many of them are specialists here, and that's not what LeBron needs. LeBron needs help of guys who can play defense, who can physically bang and get on the glass.
Let's remember, they're trying to put this team together. Last year's team was a team that got off to a great start, but there was a lot of discord, a lot of unhappiness. So they got to bring people in and find out who can work with LeBron James and who cannot. So this is still a process that's evolving. It is only his third year.
Do we make LeBron now a serious MVP candidate? What's our feeling about that?
He never was not a serious candidate. I mean, I think that he has been just dominating in a lot of ball games and should be one of those guys considered for the MVP, and it's going to depend on how well Cleveland finishes the season.
They're in 4th place in the Eastern Conference right now, in the same division as Detroit, which puts them in the same bracket in the playoffs. But you have to make a distinction between most valuable player and best player.
That's true.
Right now, Kobe Bryant is the best player. Right now, the most valuable player, Chauncey Billups, followed up by Steve Nash. Maybe even Tim Duncan in that conversation. You can't leave out Dirk Nowitzki and LeBron and Elton Brand, who are playing fabulous basketball.
Is this list growing? Do we have an MVP? Or are you leaving yourself a way out again?
Steve, we're only halfway through the season. This is the MVP for the entire season. LeBron strips Steve Nash, the reigning MVP.
Up with the 3, and Steve Nash makes it a 6-point game with 19 seconds. Here comes the foul. Barbosa in the backcourt. That 3-point shot, Bill, you've always got a last-second chance.
Well, everything but everything has to work perfectly for Phoenix to get back in this game. The thing that you don't want to see happen is suddenly a team starts missing at the free throw line with the clock stopped, and then they come back and knock down a 3. So if they can come back, Marshall, get at least one of these free throws, they will continue to hold the lead.
But let's give some credit to Mike Brown's defensive strategy. Make Steve Nash beat you as a scorer. Steve Nash has 6 assists, which is about half of what he normally gets per game.
20 shots.
But he's taken 20 shots and made a nice percentage. But Steve Nash's game is, as the MVP, is making everybody else to star.
Back outside. He's fouled on that 3.
What is Pavlovich thinking?
Those are the kind of mistakes you don't want to have. Even though you have an 8-point cushion, you don't want to foul a guy on a 3-point shot.
Doesn't he know that they have to get to Shaq and Tracy and Dwayne Wade?
He can make it a 5 with 9.6 to go here if he can hit all 3 of them.
Pavlovich fouls out of the game.
Since he joined the starting lineup, they have not lost a game.
James Jones will be shooting 3 shots from the ball.
This winning streak, which is at 4 now, if they can hold on here, will be 5. Started at Utah, the end of a disastrous road trip where they lost every game out west. Cleveland did.
James Jones, the Miami Hurricane, at that free throw line.
James Jones was spectacular in the first half, quieted down considerably.
A chance to make it a 5-point game. 9.6 seconds.
James Jones got 20 points, looking for 21 off the bench.
Missed that one. And the quick foul.
But that's Boris Diaw. Now he's out of the game.
Well, since they're not going to go to overtime, I don't think it matters. I think that what they're trying to do is stop the clock, give themselves a chance to come up with some sort of miracle finish. That means misses by Varejao, coming back with converting 3-point field goals at the other end. You got 8 seconds left in this ball game.
And LeBron James is like a free safety in a prevent defense, standing back adjacent to the Cavaliers bench, just waiting back there. Should barrage will miss, and they come down and look for a quick transition 3 here. 8.5.
And Mike D'Antoni comes with Kurt Thomas, who's been plagued with foul trouble throughout the second half here.
But Phoenix had a 4-game trip. They played extremely well in 2 3/4 of the trip. Losing to Orlando, they weren't happy with that effort. They're not going to be happy with their second half effort here. But it's tough to win on the road.
And they have 2 more games on the road. Timeout D'Antoni. They go to Philadelphia and Boston on Tuesday and Wednesday of this coming week.
That first made free throw looms very large right now. Now, we talked about the MVP, and you know, we were just chatting over dinner last night. We came up with some candidates, and Bill has mentioned them. Nash, the reigning MVP. Kobe Bryant, I've heard some commentators say he's got to have it, blah, 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 blah. But there's a lot of time to go. Like Bill pointed, I find Nowitzki to be the overlooked player in that group. And, of course, you know who's missing, Snapper.
We have a lot of people that are missing, but one that's been missing, and last year he was the rage of Miami, and that's Shaquille O'Neal. He has had a very, very difficult season due to injury, just now getting himself into some sort of game shape. Allen Iverson is missing from the list, and Allen Iverson is having maybe his best efficiency season in his career of 10.
And nobody talks about the Dallas Mavericks.
For 2 from Sean Marion.
Foul right away. Oh, they can't even get the ball in bounds.
The one thing that they cannot afford down there is a turnover before the foul. They'll take the foul at 111, 106, but you don't want to give Phoenix a steal layup right now. So Eric Snow, very smart, called the timeout.
Brent, are you old enough to remember when they used to run the baseline?
I sure am.
To try to get the ball in bounds?
Absolutely.
I'm not sure what Eric Snow is going through his mind right now.
I can remember somebody running the baseline. I can't remember what it was. I think threw it and it hit the backboard. Ricocheted back. I can't remember who that knucklehead was.
Always the play that's there is the long pass.
Absolutely.
Because Phoenix has to overplay. They have to foul. They're in desperate straits right now. Just put it over the top.
Well, you got to have someone down there to catch it. Otherwise, they get to inbound the ball back down.
Throw it slow enough, Steve, and it just bounces out. Remember the Magic Johnson game in the Portland Trailblazers in the early 90s.
1 second is different than 4.6.
I got to miss you two guys Tuesday night.
You know, he's a revisionist. You know, now you, Brent, were you old enough to remember the rules still the same?
And Snow started to run the baseline down there.
And then quickly panicked.
Call timeout. Call timeout. don't risk a turnover. I happen to agree with what Eric did.
I'm for a rule change that you cannot call timeout on an inbounds pass.
Why?
Cannot call timeout on an inbounds pass.
Right.
Why would you change it?
It slows the game down and negates great defensive effort.
And there's the quick foul on the inbounds. And
5-10 go off, 4.1. Daniel Marshall is looking to see if he's bleeding. And it's going to have to get cleaned up. But, I mean, again, what they want out of this is 1 free throw. So there's really not a lot of pressure on Daniel Marshall. He needs to step up, make that first. If he gets 2, it's that much better. But they keep it a 2-possession game with time running out against them.
Bill, do you think they've held the tap down in Miami, Houston? Do you think they're holding them up for us?
They better.
That's the next game, folks. Second game, our doubleheader here on ABC. Shaquille O'Neal, Dwayne Wade against Tracy McGrady and the Houston Rockets. Then, of course, over on ESPN, at 6:30 Eastern, we had on that graphic, it'll be the Lakers and the Pistons. So a big day of NBA basketball here was LeBron James moving center stage, 44 points, leading the Cavaliers back from an 18-point deficit against the Phoenix Suns, and a split of the 2 games that these teams will play this year, as Phoenix won the first one at home, 115-106. 32 of LeBron's 44 came in the second half of this game. So LeBron James does it all, inside and out. For Mark Jones, Snapper Jones, Bill Walton, I'm Brett Musburger. A reminder, Miami and Houston coming up next on ABC. So long, everybody.